I say normally I keep for grade 10 it was happening properly. For all it was not happening. But yeah. Anyways, so right. Today actually we're going to start off with the this question. We're going to start off with the 2023 O-level paper, and then we'll be moving on to certain random questions, right? So I'll first of all give you all the time to do the question. So complete. I mean, this is the like 2023 O-level paper. It has two questions: the compulsory question and the selection question. So I'll give you 5 minutes to do this question. So it's like 6:02 now. I'll give you time. Let's say until six seven. This is not there in your tube. Yes, this is not there in the tube. I told no now on like even last week's content was I mean last class content was not there in the tube which I gave you. From today onward, it's going to be completely new. That's why I told you this what you call have a separate writing book so you can do these questions there. So daily I'll be sharing questions live. Okay. I'll give you 5 minutes, quickly do this question. It's a very easy question. It's just a fill in the blanks question. They are given you the options here, and you have to just match them with the respective labels. So I'll give you time till 6, 7. Try doing this question, all of you. Those who are done, raise your hand in the participant list so I know that you're done. Okay, one of you all are done. Fun fact, actually, you have to complete this question within like in terms of reality, in terms of if you're going to do your question on the correct timing, you have to somehow complete this question in 2 minutes. But anyways, fine. Do you? Yeah, you have done this already. Fine. I guess you have to stop doing ICT past papers, Salman, because if not, you will be doing all what we are doing, what we have done. Anyways, others, you all have 2 more minutes remaining. Quick. Only five of you all have been, only five of you all have completed up now. Let's see if majority needs time. I'll give a bit more time, but let's see. Do you? Question is been blocked. Okay. 1 minute remaining. Okay. Is there anyone of you all who wants a bit more time to do this question? Because time is up. Let me know through the chat. How long do you need? One more minute, 2 minutes. Okay, I'll give you time till 6:10. It's too much, but anyways, I'll give you time till 6:10. Quickly complete this question. Those who are done with the question, raise your hands in the participant Zoom so that I know you're done. Okay, time up. So I can stop writing and now focus on the screen to check if your answer is correct or wrong. Right. Let's go to the question. A program is required to check the spellings in a text file named by the user. Okay, so the purpose of the program is to check the spellings of it in a text file named by the user. The program is to offer suggestions for incorrect words and then do what the user wants with respect to them. Okay, so if there is any incorrect words, offer suggestions if there is any incorrect words. Okay, a flowchart is drawn from the a flowchart drawn for this purpose is shown at right. Okay, write down the labels of the correct replacements for P to U choosing from the given list. Okay, so you can see here if you look at this flowchart, there is a label called P, Q, R, S, T, and U. Okay, now tell me, is P an input? Now, will this P instruction contain a input, a process, or let's say, will it contain a condition? Will the label P contain a input, process, I mean input output? Will it contain like input output or process, or will it contain a condition? Exactly. Because they have used here a rectangular shape, you know it's going to be a process. Fine, perfect. Now, if you take this label Q, the condition that the statement that is there inside this label Q, what do you think about that? Does that contain input output, or does it contain a process, or does it contain a condition? Yes, that's going to contain a exactly. That's going to contain a condition because the rhombus is used for a conditional statement. That's also fine, right? Then look at the statement U and tell me, is a statement you input output statement, process statement, or again a condition? Yes, the statement user process. Fine. Then if you take the statement R, what about this? Is it input output, process or output? The statement R, input output, process or a condition? Exactly. That's going to be a condition statement again because it is a rhombus. What about T and S? Exactly, because TNS is basically a parallelogram. Okay, Akshayas. Because this TNS is based on parallelogram, this should either be an input or else a output statement. Okay. So first thing in these kind of questions to get to what you call to easily find your answer, first of all figure out what type of statement will each of these shape contain. Now let's come to the questions. Let's come to the labels. Okay. If you take the label A, is this word correct? Is this an input output statement or is this a process statement or does this look like a conditional statement? By reading this exact instruction, someday you will be able to understand is it input, output, process, or condition, right? So what is it? Exactly. It looks like a conditional statement. Okay, it's like a question. It's basically a scenario where a decision has to be made. So is this word correct means you'll have two answers, either yes or no. So that's going to be like a conditional statement. Do what user wants. What about this? Is the input, process, or output? So ask him do something like action. Exactly. When you say like do what user wants, like action, it's a process basically. Then end of file question mark. When you have this word question mark, is it end of file question mark means it's like indirectly asking, is this the end of the file? So that is a exactly. That's a conditional statement. Fine, perfect. Then get user input. What about this one? Yes, that's an input statement. Then open file. What about this one? Normally, inputs are like things you get from the user. Output are things you give the user. Condition processes are like actions that has to be done. Condition is where a decision has to be made. So when you say open file, exactly that's an action. So it's like a process. And then print suggestions. Exactly. Print suggestion means print. Print means you're going to give something to the user, like display, print. These are all outputs in a system. Okay, these are all outputs in a system. So first thing what we did is we figured out what does each of these shapes should contain, and from the given statement we like what type of statement is this. By doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to shorten our. It's like if let's say you have this if you have gone for that if you have seen Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or Lakshapati, you have this 50-50 option. No? So what happens is you're out of 4 options, you're reducing the possible options into 2. No? Likewise, here out of all the options, what we have done is we have reduced the possible answers for each statement. Now, if you take the statement P, it is containing a process. So out of the given answers, we know statement B contains a process and statement E contains a process. Now we have to figure out is statement B suitable there or statement E suitable there. Now, if you look at this flow chart, first of all, what we're doing is we're starting the program and getting the file name. Okay. After you get the file name, the next statement is about reading word. So before reading the word, what do you think? We should do what the user wants or we have to open the file? Exactly. We have to open the file because if you read this whole scenario they have mentioned, we have to do what the user wants. See, do what the user wants. After you do all these suggestions, that means, for example, you will check first of all, are there incorrect words? Okay. If there are incorrect words, you have to give some suggestions. Okay. Once you're done with this, okay, once you're done with that process, then only you are basically do what the user wants. Okay. So if you look at the flow chart, this is the beginning part. So obviously P should be something like open file. So I'm going to tell the statement P is going to be corresponding to the label E. Is that clear, all of you? Yes or no? And then eventually the statement U should contain what? What do you think the statement that U should contain? The letter U should contain? Obviously, you should contain B because again, you can see out of the given list, we have only two processes. In the diagram also, we have only two process. You can see in the diagram given also, this is a process as well as this is a process. Out of the given answers also, they are given two processes. So obviously, if E is going to be P, then B is going to be U. So without even using our brains here, you'll be able to quickly get the answer. That's why I said, if you do all these steps, you can reach your answer comparatively quickly. I wrote a full sentence. No. If you read the question, they're asking you, write down the labels, follow whatever the question asks. If you just write down the whole statement, it's wrong. The question says, write down the labels of the corresponding replacements for P to U. So P is E. E is a label. So you use the labels only, right? Don't write the whole sentence. Next, let's go for the statement Q. Now you can see statement Q contains a condition. So out of the given answers, we have a condition in the statement C, as well as we have a condition in statement A. Again, only these two statements. So again, it's like a 50-50 options. Either Q is going to be, is this word correct? Or Q is going to be the end of the, is it the end of the file? Now, once you read the word, as per the given scenario, once you read the word, first thing you have to do is you're going to check is the word correct. And if the word is correct, then there is no issues. If the word is wrong, then basically you have to find suggestions, and that has a whole pathway, right? But if you look at this flow chart, let's see what is suitable. Okay, let's see what is suitable. Now, if I use is the word correct here, okay, if I use the word is the word correct here, what will happen is, let's say the word is not correct, then we are going to go to second statement. If the word is correct, the program stops. If the word is correct, the program stops. But if I go for the next one is asking the next possible condition we have. The next possible condition is end of file. So if you look at this whole flow chart, okay, if I, for example, if I apply A for this, if I tell that Q is going to be the label A, which means the Q is going to contain is the word correct. Then if the word is wrong, then R is basically checking is the end of the file. Okay, so let's say end of the file means what? C. Okay, so if I say R is end of the file, you can see if it is the end of the file, okay, let's say I use C there. If it is end of the file, I'll be going towards this path. Now, if I go through this path, it's again come to read word. Now, if I have come to the end of the file, should I again go and read the words? If I have reached the end of the file, should I again go and read any words? Let's say a file has five names, okay? And let's say I have read all five names. I have gone through also all five words. Now I have to, okay, I'm asking, okay, have you reached the end of the file? You're saying yes. Now should I again go and read something? No. So technically, if you use A here and C here, that sounds wrong. So let's swap and see how would that sound. Okay. So instead of putting A there and C there, let's put C here and let's put A here. Now, if you look at the program, here what we're going to come and check in Q is, have we reached the end of the file? If we have reached the end of the file, you can see the program is going to stop. But if we have not reached the end of the file, now we have a condition here, and this condition is going to check basically, is the word correct? Okay. And if the word is correct, then we are going to go for the next word. See, if the word is correct, then we are going to go for the next word. But if the word is wrong, now you can see here we are going to go for the finding suggestions. Now tell me, is this suitable? Okay, is the current version suitable or my previous version suitable as per the given scenario? What do you think? Is the current version suitable or previous one? Previous one is where Q is A and R is C. Current one or the previous one? What is more suitable? Exactly. This version, the current version is only suitable, right? Because the previous version doesn't make sense, right? So therefore, I'm going to stick to this. That is where the label Q is going to represent C and label R is going to represent the statement A. So as per this program, I'm checking, have we first of all, I'm checking, have we reached the end of the file? If it is no, now I'm going to check basically, what do you call, is the word correct? And if the word is correct, I don't have to do anything because the question says here, only if the word is wrong, okay, for incorrect words, see, only if the word is wrong, only if it contains incorrect words, I have to figure out a solution. So you can see when this condition gives no, when the condition R gives no only, I'm going to go and find suggestions. Is that clear, all of you? Yes or no? So is there any between steps when checking the spellings, as in what the procedures to show the words are correct or not? This is not a completed algorithm. It's just like a rough sketch of an algorithm. I mean, this does not contain how to check if a word is correctly. It's not a deep algorithm. It's like a basic algorithm, so you don't have to think about that much. So you don't have to think about the procedure of how it is working. As long as you just follow this given algorithm, you're good to go. Okay, so based on that, we figured out these two, right? I think I answered all the questions. I didn't miss anything. Yes. Okay, the next one. Now, the next statement we have TNS. We have to figure out what is, sorry, UT. We have already figured out U. Now we have TNS remaining. Okay. So we have two steps here, the step S and the step T. And if you go through a given statement, again, we have one thing called get user input, another thing called print suggestions. Okay. Now, after you find the suggestion, okay, if you look at this program, after you find the suggestion, should you first of all get the user input, or first of all should you print suggestion is a question mark here. Let's see what will happen if we swap them. If we is again going there, read word. Okay, so as per this scenario, once you find the suggestion, okay, once you find the suggestion, what should you do? Now I have already found the suggestion. What do you think is more suitable? Now, once I found the suggestion, print in the suggestion, or ask in the user in print, after that print in the suggestion. Exactly. First of all, you print user suggestions, which means, for example, let's say user I for now, for example, let's say let's say the word apple is spelled like this. No, instead of spelling apple like this, I had spelled apple like this. Okay, APL. I had spelled apple like this. Now what will happen is my program is going to give some suggestion. Now my program saying this is an incorrect word. My program figured out it's an incorrect word from this specific condition, and it is going to give me some suggestions. For example, it's going to give me some suggestion. Did you mean a double PLE? Or it's going to ask me, did you mean a double P app? Or did you mean all? Or let's say, did you mean kill? It's going to give me some suggestions. For example, I'm going to take these three suggestions. So after it gives these three suggestions, now the user can tell, yes, by mistake I entered APL, it should actually be a double L killer. Okay. So for example, if you follow that pathway, S should be in such that print in the suggestions, and T should be in such that you're going to get the user input. So S should be contained in the statement F, T should contain the statement D. So you print the suggestions. After you print the suggestion, user will go through the suggestion and figure, okay, this is the exact word I actually meant. Got it? Is that clear, all of you? Okay, so that is how this whole program is going to work. So if you did the matching part correctly, P is going to be matched to E. No, Hasna, after the class is over, I'll be giving this, not before. Nothing, you all can try and come. But you call, yeah. So label P is going to match to E, Q is going to match to C, R is going to match to A, S is going to match to F, T to D, and U to B. Mark your answers and let me know through the chat how many marks you got. So put 1 mark each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tell me out of 6 marks how much you got. Why are we getting the user input here? The reason we are getting the user input is now, for example, let's say we have a file and this file has a incorrect word. Okay, if the file has an incorrect word, now the purpose of this program itself is to figure out if there is an incorrect word, and if there is no incorrect words, fine. But if there is any incorrect word, we have to recorrect them. Okay, so for example, if I have entered APL, okay, the word, now let's say in a sentence I have used the word APL, and my program is telling there is no such word as APL in the dictionary. So it will go and check in the dictionary, is there a word called APL? And it will figure out there is no any word called APL. So it will ask me, did I mean Apple or app or ALI, or did I mean API killer? It will ask, give me suggestions. So after it give me suggestions, only I know what I meant. Can the program predict, oh, okay, this bugger meant Apple, or can the program like predict that this person meant Apple? It's hard. There are ways using AI you can nowadays, but again, it's hard for a program to actually predict exactly what I meant. So after it gives me the suggestion, now I have the ability. Okay, I think, I did a spelling mistake there, no typing mistake there, no. Actually, it's not APL; it should be AWL. I can mention, right? So that's what we're getting the user input. So after it shows the suggestion, the user is going to enter exactly what word did he mean, and that will get replaced. Got it? That's great, Shazri. Do what the user wants. Do what the user wants means like it's like as per the question given here, they have mentioned that in the given scenario. The program is to offer suggestions for incorrect words and then do what the user wants with respect to them. So do what the user wants with respect to them means if the user wants to convert, if the user wants to replace API to Apple, then replace API to Apple. If the user wants to replace API to app, then replace it to app. If the user wants to replace API to all, replace it all. So basically, we are going to replace this word with the word the user enters. Got it? So once you enter the name, it'll go and replace it. That's what's going to happen in you. You goes and replace the word. Is under A if there is a word is no is under A. Yeah, under A. Under A meaning if the word is correct, then the words will be read again, right? A I have mentioned here. If the word is correct, it'll go for the next word. Okay, I'll explain you exactly how this works. This is a complex process, but I'll explain how how this program actually works in a more practical scenario. Okay, imagine I have a document, a text document containing this a paragraph. For example, paragraph like this, and let's say I have a document which have this paragraph. Okay, an APL is a term used for describing an application programming interface. Imagine, no, here I'm having only one line, but imagine this word. Let's say I have a document which contains a very large amount of words. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to figure out is there any spelling mistakes, is there any grammatical errors in any of the words. If there is any grammatical errors, I mean, if there is not grammatical errors, if there is any correct spelling mistakes in any of my words, to make the correction. Okay, if there is spelling mistakes, to make the correction. So how this program is going to do is, first of all, I'm going to go and enter this file. Now, let's say there's a file. So let's say this whole paragraph is stored in a file called abc.txt. This is the file. Okay. So when the program is running, first of all, it asks me to get the file name. Okay, here you don't have to basically give the file. You just have to give the file name. So it'll go and take the file from the file manager. So I'll go and give the file name. So I'll give the file name as abc.txt. So once I go and click on abc.txt, it will go and open the file. It will go to my computer and go and search where this abc.txt file is there, and it will open the file. Once it opens the file, it's going to read the word. Okay. What I mean by read the word is it's going to read word by word. It's actually before this, there should be another way of how here, that's why I said here they have not mentioned the logic of how it works. But using programming, there is a way you can actually, there is a loop for that basically, where if you take a text document, you can go from word to word, word to word, word to word, word to word. There's a way you can go. Okay. So what we are going to do here is we are going to go to a specific word. We are going to read the first word. So here the first word is and. Okay. And the second statement, the Q is basically we're checking is this the end of the file. Okay, statement Q is checking is the end of the file. Now, if you look at the whole scenario, this is not the end of the file. This is basically the beginning word, right? So after what it will do is because now it knows that it's not the end of the file, it goes to the statement R. In statement R, we check is the word correct. So we now let's say we have a set of words like let's say we have a place. Actually, it's an array which will be containing this. But let's keep that thing aside. So we'll have a place that contains all the correct words in an English dictionary. So we'll go and check, okay, is this word and there in the dictionary? If it is there in the dictionary, now it will go for the statement, it will go towards upwards. And it will go for the next word. So now we'll go and read the word API. APL. So by mistake, I mentioned APL. Now it will go and check, is this the last word? Now again, APL is not the last word. So then what it will do is it will go for the next condition, that's condition R, and check is APL a correct word. So if you go to the dictionary and see, sometimes there won't be a word called APL. So when there is no words, now it will go for the no part. And it will find suggestions. So now it will give suggestions. Okay, did you mean Apple, or did you mean app, or did you mean all, or did you mean API? It will give you suggestions. So after it gives you suggestion, now it will print to the suggestions. Okay, after it finds the suggestions, so it will find all the suggestions and it's going to print for you. So a message will be printed. These are the suggestions for this word you had mentioned. Please select what is the correct word you actually meant. Okay, it will give you all the possible, matchable the words that are similar, like almost matching, and it will ask you to choose one. So then you will be like, ah, yes, I had made a mistake there. It's not APL, it should be API. So what you will be doing is in statement S, you will be going and entering API. So now in statement T, what happens is it basically, sorry, statement S is going to print in the suggestions. Statement D is where it will be taking that new word from you. So you will be going and entering API. So after you go and enter API, the statement U, what that will do is it will do what the user wants. What it mean by do what the user want is it is going to replace APL, sorry, APL, it's going to replace this with API because the user wants to do this. And now it will go for the next word, that is. And the same flow is going to happen again and again and again. Okay. Actually, they have not mentioned all the steps. There are more steps in reality. If you're going to create this program in reality, there is more steps you have. So they have not included all the steps, but a rough sketch is basically like this. Did that make sense? Now, did you understand how this program actually works? Yes or no? That's how basically what these instructions are. Got it? Okay, perfect. Anyone having any questions here still that I did not address yet? Anyone? Okay. If there's any questions, drop in the chat. Let's go for the next one. Right. This is a part two question. I'll give you all, actually, I'll do this within 10 minutes. I'll give you all 7 minutes and see if you can finish it within 7 minutes. It's 6:33. Let's see if you can finish this question by 6:40. If you can't, then I'll give you time till 6:43. But yeah, try completing this question by 6:40. Yes, actually in Colonna we had done this question in the class. Anyways, do it again. I'm pretty sure you forgot it. Those who are done with this question, raise your hands in the participant list. So I know you're done. If you're done answering, raise your hand in the participant list. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Try to complete by 6:40. But if no one, I mean, majority does not complete, I can give you 6:43. Which, okay, one of you are done. Nice. Those who did this question, double check your answer. I'm just giving you a reminder. Yes, Varda, what is it? That Salma, actually, it's mentioned in that note. In the paragraph last, they mention note. That gives the answer to the question. One answer is not there. For base, like is blank music. No. Read the whole thing. There is in the note section, they have mentioned something. Replacement one of the blank requires multiple lines. Is a blank like is a blank is missing. A B C D E F G. No, all of them. Think, think, think. How many more programming questions? The last one. The last one for day today, and then we'll be moving on to mixed questions. Just playing with our brains. No, these are easy questions. Programming is not about always about creating codes or writing programs. If you don't understand it and the note, ignore it, don't worry. Okay. So it's not mainly about writing codes, all those stuffs. It's mainly about problem solving. So to solve a problem, you need three things. Sorry, to solve a problem, you need one thing, and that requires three things. Okay, to solve a problem, first of all, you have to analyze the problem. And to analyze the problem, you need three things. That is finding the input, figure out in the process, how the process would be, and figure out in the outputs. So if you use your brains properly, it's not a big deal. To be honest, that previous question was there, right? Today is the first time I did that question. Huh? So you can see how much time I took to do that question with explanation. But I mean, you saw how my brain processed it for the first time. Huh? It was the first time I did that question. I had never even seen that question earlier. Sir, I'll explain that when doing the question. Now try doing it alone. Okay, if I'm going to give you the explanation now, that note, what it means is it's basically saying now the labels A to G, they are corresponding to a statement. So label A means one instruction, label B means one instruction, or it's a one keyword. But it's saying one of the label is basically containing not just a instruction or not just a keyword. It is containing instructions that might come to multiple lines. Now, for example, this is an instruction that is then one line. This is an instruction that is there another line. So they are saying one of the label will contain instructions, not just one line instruction, it might contain at least multiple lines as well. Got it? Sorry. Okay. Right, 13 of you are done. Do you all want 3 more minutes? Those who are not still doing, do you all want 3 more minutes to do this question? I can give maximum 3 more minutes, but yeah, do you all want? Okay, I'll give you 3 more minutes. I'm going to discuss it at 6:43. Let's see how much correct you all could get. If you're done with figuring out all A to G labels, raise your hand in the participants list. No hint. Try doing alone. You have 1 more minute remaining. It is like that in the train station, there is an announcement. Like, coach, yeah, sorry, I'm making it up, yeah, some bullshit. I'm giving you notifications. Quick, quick, do. Okay, time up. So let me show you the answer. I can check and correct them. So let's go through the question first and foremost. The administration of a school decides to calculate the body mass index of each student to find the underweight, normal, overweight, and obese students. Fine. The BMI, or as the body mass index of a person weighing W kilograms and having a height of H meters, is calculated using the following formula. Right. So they are given the formula to calculate the body mass index. And an example, okay, no issues. Then the person's weight status is found according to the following table. Perfect. So if the person's weight, the person's body mass index is less than 18.5, he's underweight. If he is more than 18.5 or equal to 18.5, but less than 25, his body mass index is normal. If he is more than or equal to 25, but less than or equal to 29.9, he is overweight. And if he is greater than 29.9, is obese killer they have mentioned here. That's also fine. The school administration wants a program to find the weight status of all the 400 students. Okay, so we have to find the weight status of all 400 students in the school. In this program, for each student, the name, grade, weight in kilograms, and height in meters should be taken as inputs. Okay. Then the student's BMI should be computed. So first of all, they're asking us to get the inputs. And once we get the inputs, they're asking us to find the BMI. Finally, the name, grade, and BMI. So finally, name, grade, BMI, and weight status of the student should be printed. That's also fine. A pseudocode skeleton that aids in writing this program is given below. Write down the suitable replacements for each blank's label from A to G. Fine. Okay, good. So basically what they have said is there is a school which has 400 students. This is one keyword. And you want to figure out the body mass index. Okay. So you're going to get from the user, the inputs you're going to get from the user is going to be on the student's name, his grade, his weight, and height. These are some things you're going to get as inputs. And once you get them as input, you're going to find the BMI and print his name, grade, and the BMI and weight status. Okay. Let's go through the program. Begin count equals 1 while count is less than a. Okay, so there is a while loop here, and inside the while loop there are certain instructions that has to be executed. Okay, now if you go through these instructions inside the while loop, you can see there's something called input something and processing. See, there's a C statement and there's output statement, there's if condition, then there's somewhere about output underweight, output normal. Now you can get the idea. Okay, the whole process that is like asking the user to enter their name details and finding the BMI and figuring out the weight status. These are all happening within this loop. Okay. Now this has to be repeated individually for each and every students. Okay. So based on that, tell me the loop we have here. This should be repeated how many times? The instructions we have inside this, it has to be repeated how many times? Exactly. It has to be repeated 400 times. If you look at this loop, you have a condition here while count is less than a. Okay. So for the purpose of this condition, normally if you take a while loop, the purpose of the condition that you have there is to control the number of repetitions, right? So based on this condition only, we decide, are we going to continue this loop or are we going to stop this loop? Now, when the value of count is 1, we are going to continue the loop. Value of count is 2, we're going to continue the loop. Likewise, if I'm going to continue the loop based on by checking the value of count, okay, I'm going to check is count 1, count 2, count 3, I'm checking. Okay. Likewise, if I'm going to check, if I start from 1 and go like this 1, 2, 3. Now let's say within the loop, I'm going to change the value of count. Okay, like let's say within the loop, I'm going to change the value of count 10. But you call after every execution, I'm going to check is the value of count less than a specific number. Now, when the value of count is 1, obviously I'm going to continue. When it's 2, I'm going to continue. 3, I'm going to continue. Likewise, if I'm going to continue up to 390, or let's say up to 400. Okay. While count is 400 also, if I'm going to continue, okay, when the value of what you call count is 400 also, I'm going to continue. So based on that, tell me, if I'm going to do it such kind of scenarios, how many repetitions will be there? That means when count is 1, I'll repeat. When count is 2, I'll repeat. When count is 3, I'll repeat. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 killer. Likewise, when until the value of count goes to 400, I'll be repeating. So between number 1 to number 400, how many numbers are there? Like how many numbers, how many times will repeat? Okay, for those who are confused, I'll simplify it. Let's say if I am asking between 1 to 4, how many numbers are there? Let's say when count is 1, I had to repeat. When count is 2, I had to repeat. When count is 3, I had to repeat. When count is 4, I had to repeat. Now, how many times am I repeating? Exactly, 4 times I'm repeating. So when we have 1 to 400, that means actually I'll repeat 400 times. With 1 to 400, 400 times. Bonus question. If it was from 0 to 400, like when count is 0, I'll repeat. When count is 1, I'll repeat. When count is 319, I'll repeat. When count is 400, also I'm going to repeat. Then how many will be there? Exactly. In this range, there's 401 values. In this range, there's 401 values. Anyways, let's ignore that. That's not necessary for us. Now, we want this condition to we want this loop to continue when the value of count is 400. Now, tell me if I replace a with 400. For example, if I put the condition there is while count is less than 400. Okay, let's say I put the condition while count is less than 400. And now let's say the value of count is 400. Will the loop continue? Will the loop continue? No, the loop will not continue. The reason is because when you're going to check is 400 less than 400, it's going to give you false. So you all know while loop, it stops when the condition is false. Now tell me, instead of using 400, if I mention something like this, while count is less than 401, if I use a condition, while count is less than 401, and now let's say the value of count is 400. If the value of count is 400, will the loop continue? Let's say the value of count is 400. Will the loop continue? Yes. Let's say the value of count is 401 now. Will it continue? No, it will not continue. So based on that, tell me, for this label A, is it suitable to mention 400 or is it suitable to mention 401? Exactly. It's suitable to mention 401. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to mention there the label A is going to be while count is less than. So label A is going to be, I'm going to tell, it is going to be less than 400 and 1 do. Okay, because normally the correct structure of while loop is while the condition is true and there should be the word do as well. So while and the 400, while count is less than 401, do. So already one count has gone no. That's why I'm saying when the value of count is 1, now we are going to continue the loop. Still we did not go. Now here we are going to go in now after this statement only we are going to execute the instructions. Still we did we get the first student's name after before this statement? Before checking the condition, did we get any student's name, any student's grade, any student's weight, any student's height before checking the condition? No, right? No, exactly. So based on this condition only, we are going to decide, are we even going to ask him? Okay. So you can see when the value of count is 1, now we are going to check, okay, should I ask now? So basically, you're going to ask. Likewise, when the value of count is 2, you're going to ask. When the value of count becomes 3, then again, you're going to decide, should I ask? Yes, I have to ask. When the value of count becomes 4, should I ask? Yes. When the value of count becomes 400, should I ask? Yes. I put less than or equal to 400. Yes, you can mention less than or equal. That's also possible. If you mention equal is also fine. Another option you can do here is you can mention less than or equal. I'm saying if you're going to use a less than symbol, then you can't mention less than or equal to 400 because there is no any condition like this. If you mention less than or equal to 400, it's wrong. The reason is because already count is less than is given. If you want to mention, another answer you can mention is equal 400 because they ask you to fill in the blanks. So already that less than is given. So if you really want to put there, you put less than or equal. Got it? if you mention just 400, it's wrong. I already gave the explanation why it is wrong. Okay. So your possible answers are either 401 do or equal 400 do. Is that clear of you? Yes or no? Okay. Perfect. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Huh? Now let's go for statement B. What is statement B? It's very easy actually. Name, grade, weight, height. What are they? Can't it be less than or equal to 309? No, it can't be. You do the calculation if you want to see. One count is not gone, man. You're not getting the point still. When we say count equals one, let me put the program like this. Let's say I have a program that's going to print the numbers between 1 to 5. If I mention like this, let's say count equals 1. Let's say 1 to 3 to make it very less. If I mention while count is less than or equal to 2, okay, while count is less than or equal to 2, let's say print count and count equals count plus 1 and 1. If I have it like this, okay, if I have it like this, initially count is 1. So I'm going to come and check is 1 less than or equal to true. So it's going to print count. So if I say print count, what is the value that's going to get printed? Exactly. Because count was 1, 1 is going to get printed. Then I'm saying count equals count plus 1. So what will be the new value of count? Is going to be 2. Now again, I come and check the, because while loop, I again come and check the condition. Is count less than or equal to 2? So if I go and check is it less than or equal to, it's going to be me true. Print count, it's going to print how much? Print count will print how much now? It's going to print 2. Now when you say count equals count plus 1, what will be the value of count? It's going to be 3. So now you again come and check the condition. Is count less than or equal to true or false? False. Will the loop continue or will the loop stop? Loop will stop. So when the loop stops, let's say the program was ends from here. When the program is ending, are we printing the numbers between one to like all the numbers from 1 to 3? No. See, only 1 and 2 is printing. Same thing here. If you use 399, it'll ask from student number 1 will ask, student number 2 will ask, student number 3 will ask. 399 student also will be what do you call will be asking him as well. But the student number 400, we will not be asking his details. If you put 399 there. Got it? Okay, perfect. So now we know what is statement A. Let's go for statement B. Yes, what is statement B basically? It's going to be exactly that's going to be input because the name, grade, weight, and height. These are inputs we get from the user. See, name, grade, weight, and height. These are inputs that we have to get from the user. Fine. Then C. Now you can see the next question. Okay, before after C, the next statement we have is output name. We have already got the name from the user. Output grade. We have already got the grade from the user. Output BMI. Now before this statement, have we defined what BMI is? Yes, sorry. Have we defined what BMI is? No. So based on that, you can come to a conclusion. Okay, the statement C is basically going to define what BMI is, right? Now, first of all, is that clear? Statement C should define what BMI. Is that clear? In the question, they mentioned BMI is equal to weight divided by height square. Okay, BMI is equal to weight divided by height square. This is what is given in the question. Now tell me, if I write the list for the label C, if I write the instruction like this, what do you think? Is it correct or wrong? Why is it wrong? No, calculate is not important in a program. That's just a for one you put. Nope, that is using Pascal Umar, not in pseudocode. Mariam, be a bit more specific. He doesn't know what W and H defines. Exactly. Wrong variables. Perfect. Even though, for example, if you write here BMI equals W divided by H square, have we defined what W means, what H means? No. So you have to mention, for label C, you have to mention BMI is equal to weight is what? Weight. They have mentioned weight as weight. The variable used is weight. So weight divided by height square. Normally we don't, so if you want to mention height square, either you can use exponential symbol like this, or you can mention height into height till you can mention. Both are fine. You can mention the exponential symbol, or you can mention height into height. Both are fine. Okay. So that is why this is wrong. And for label C, you are mentioned something like this. So that is one option. The other option you have is BMI is equal to weight divided by height into height. Correct. I just wrote calculate BMI. Is that wrong? Yes, that is wrong. In the question they have given. In the question they have given what do you call how the program should work. So then this is the program. So in a program, if you are using a variable, if you're going to display a value of the variable, I told you always the variable has to be defined. So if the variable is not defined, then you can't. Should we write both options? Where should I go and put you in? I told you this is the most preferable options, and these are another alternative answer which you can write. Listen, man, listen. Okay, so this is another alternative answer. Any other questions anyone have here? Then we don't need to mention the units. No, obviously no. Mentioning units is wrong. How do you know the units, man? Like how do you enter the units? You're not talking about units. Should we write calculate in? It's not compulsory. Actually, we don't have to write calculate. Let's just be write calculate, but just for fun we write it. No, no, no. Why we don't mention those? That is all given when the user is entering, he has to enter those in those forms. So you don't have to mention about that. Okay, the next one, the label D. Now you can see label D, there is a condition. Based on that condition only you're going to check is a user or what you call underweight. You can see there's a condition here. If the condition is true, you're going to say that the person is underweight. Okay. Now look at this table and tell me for a person to be underweight, his BMI should be what? Now how do we categorize a person as underweight based on what? Based on his exactly. If his BMI is less than 18.5, we can categorize him as underweight. So therefore, the statement E should be, sorry, statement D should be if BMI is less than 18.5. BMI is less than 18.5, then is a keyword. Again, you can use capital simple. Pseudocodes are not case sensitive, right? So yeah, if BMI is 18 point less than 18.5, then output underweight. Else means is BMI greater than 18.5 or less than 18.5? If we are coming for this else section, is BMI less than 18.5 or is BMI greater, less than or greater? Exactly. If you're coming for this L section, that means the BMI is greater than 18.5. Okay. If it's greater than 18.5, you can see here. Okay. You can see here there is a state label E. Okay. If the label E is true, then the weight is basically going to be normal. Okay. So based on that, tell me now we already know. Now, if you're coming for the else part, obviously the what do you call obviously the BMI should be greater than or equal to 18.5. So therefore, we don't have to check this, okay? Because only if it is greater than or equal to 18.5 only, it will even come to that section, Dale's part. So for us to tell it is normal, now we are the only condition we have to check is BMI less than 25.0. The only condition we have to check is BMI less than 25.0. So I'm going to mention for label E is BMI less than 25.0. So if BMI is less than 25.0, okay, if BMI is less than 25.0, then what has to be done? I'm mentioning here. Okay, what has to be done? I'm mentioning here. That is basically output normal. That's already given in the question actually. Up to there, is it clear, all of you? Yes or no? Then if we mention the entire condition, is it wrong? Normally, we don't mention more than one condition like that. If we are mentioning more than one condition in a program, normally in programming perspective, we have to use an and statement. Like for example, if BMI is less than or equal to 18.5 and BMI is less than 25.0 kilo, we use an and statement. Normally, we don't mention multiple conditions like that in a programming perspective. So, if you are going to ask me, is it wrong? I tell it is not suitable. It is not recommended. Not that it is wrong. It is not recommended. So, depends on how your marking scheme is prepared. If the marking scheme is going to be strict, then they'll be like it's wrong. If the marking scheme is going to be shaped, if they're going to make it, they'll be like they're giving you marks. So it depends on the marking scheme. But mentioning the full condition is not recommended. Because if you mention the whole condition, we are use them using and because normally a condition, if you have multiple conditions, you have multiple conditions, though, BMI should be greater than 18.5, BMI should be less than 25.0. Normally in those scenarios, you are using and statement, this condition and this condition. But here is not suitable because these are necessary because obviously for that section, only if BMI is greater than or equal to 18.5. So the most suitable one is like this. Is that clear? Regarding whether you will get marks or not for other things, depends on your marking scheme. Basically, the person who is making your marking scheme. Clear? Okay. The next part, statement F. Okay. Now, statement F. This is where that note is important. If you read your note, see there is a part they have mentioned here. Okay. The replacement to one of the blanks requires multiple lines. That multiple lines is actually affecting for statement F. Okay. Because if you check here else, now if you are coming for the else part, then obviously the BMI is greater than 25.0. Okay, obviously BMI is greater than 25.0 because only if it's greater than 25.0, we are going to come to that else section because why in the condition E is there, right? Condition E we are checking is BMI less than 25. So only if the BMI is greater than 25.0, we'll be coming to this else section itself. Now inside else section, we are going to figure out is the weight going to be overweight or is the weight going to be obese. So inside this label F, your statements are going to be something like this. It's going to be something like, how do you say it's overweight less than or equal to 29.0, 29.9. If BMI is less than or equal to 29.9, then output overweight, right? Else obese, else output obese, end if. Actually, for the statement if, there are 4 lines that are coming. Yes, I'll be giving prayer breaks. Okay. For the statement if, there are 4 statements coming. How many of you have got the label F correct? Let's see. Drop in the chat, let's see. If you got it correct, just mention yes. Or me or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks sus. Fine. Okay, so that's what label is. Right? Is that clear, all of you? Now comes the very great question. I should drop your question in the chat. I miss the equal mark. Why? That's given the question. What did you all write first? Label G. Send if is already there. Is it? Okay, I'll show you all. If you have here, if the then of that if is there here, if then else end if. This is one pair. Then you take the second if condition. Here you have if, and according with along with here you have the then. else end if. So that end if is there for the condition you mentioned label E. And the end if I have put here is a end if for the label F. See, if, then, else, end if. These are all like pair by pair. Got it? Let's see how many of you all got G correct. Wrong, 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 wrong. Not even one correct answer. Some of you are saying print weight status. Are what are we doing in these labels, man? I was sleeping. What are we doing here? Our underweight, normal, here inside stable. What are we printing there? Are we printing some random words? We have printed the weight status there. Then how can I say weight status there? Okay, I got one correct answer. Afrar is one correct. Just one. Yusuf Jasni correct. Two. Ashifa correct. Three. Jatushan correct. Four. NDF two times. No, it's not two times. Uh, then Akmal correct. Five. Salma correct. Six. Ale Rushdie correct. Seven. I told you majority will get it correct. G is basically count equals count plus one. Hey, did you forget? I just gave an example a while ago also. If you want the while loop to stop, if you want the while loop to change basically, I mean, um, have any changes or have any stop or whatever, value of count should change. If not, the program will not stop. So the statement G should contain count equals count plus. Some are saying print the name grade and weight state. Then what the hell is happening in the statement here? Output name grade BMA. What is happening here then? See, all those are already given. So statement G is basically count equals count plus one. Without this, the program will not end. Is that clear, all of you? Program is very easy. It's a thing that you don't use your brains. You just want to finish the question quickly, or you just want to what do you call copy someone else's answer. Give me a moment. It's very easy. Is it one or two? What do you mean one or two? One. Count equals count plus one. Why do you say two? Just for filling the blank, you should think so much. I told you a while ago. Actually, should I tell you a fun fact? If the question has not given you all the fill in the blanks, okay, and if the question has asked you to write the whole program from scratch, okay, without giving the fill in the blanks, if they ask you to write pseudocode from scratch, I'm pretty sure 90% of you would have got it correct. Like if they asked to write the whole program from scratch, you would have never missed this count equals count plus one. But because they gave fill in the blanks and because they gave this note as well, you all did not pay attention to this note also. Okay, you all thought there is only one statement or two lines, and you all just for fun filled it. But if you have done it properly, this is how it would get. Actually, if you go and check certain certain if you go and give this to some a lecturer or someone even and ask your teachers was and ask, there's a possible chance that they miss the condition G. This is just a trial and error which I have tested. Okay. Anyways, put 1 mark each. So basically for every program count is important. Yeah, right. Because okay. Next question, a bonus question for all of you. If this statement count equals count plus one is not there in this program, what will actually happen in this program? No, program will not even stop. It will be an infinite loop. Exactly. It will be an infinite loop. Again and again and again will be again and again will the program will be repeating because the value of count is not changing. No. The value of the count doesn't change. The program is going to repeat again and again. Because why? We're not going to check here while count is less than what you call 401. Always the value of count is going to be one, right? We are not changing the value of count. So it's like while one is less, while one is less, while one is less, while one is less. Every time we're checking is one less, is one less, is one less. So basically, the program doesn't stop. There will be an infinite loop. That means there will be a loop that doesn't stop. It goes until infinity, until the computer program gets corrupted. It doesn't stop. Repeatedly, again and again, the whole statements will be repeated. Is that clear? Some of you are saying that only once it will be repeated. Not it will not repeat only once. It will repeat unlimited number of times. Okay. Asna, I already did it last year. So with YouTube, it's there. You can just go and watch the whole program. Is there? But 8 hour seminar, I guess. But anyways, put 1 mark each. No, not 1 mark each. 1 mark for A, 1 mark for B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can give 4 more marks somewhere. Where should I put the 4 marks? So let me put here 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me give this 4 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 lines, no? So 4 marks means 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ah, okay. Perfect. So label F has 4 marks. Other labels all have 1 mark. Tell me what is your marks? Is this 2023 oral paper? Yes, this is the 23 oral paper. Who did just a couple of months back for us? This count equals count plus one is used in all programs to stop the repetition. No, you can have different, it depends on the program. Now in this it depends on the condition basically. Now here the condition is based on count, right? Now if you have any other things that will vary, that will change the value of count, then you don't have to. Now here the whole loop is based on this condition. Only if this condition is true, it will continue. Once the condition is false, it will stop. So if you have a loop, there should be end for the loop. If there is no end for the loop, then it's so stupid. So in this loop, in this question, the loop is ending because the value of count is changing. But let's say if I have a different program, like for example, like let's say a password kind of program. Let's say if your password is matching, then nothing happens. But if your password is not matching, again it's asked you to enter the password, something like that. 10 out of 10, 9, 9, 13, 8, 7. How do you get 13 marks here? That's a bloody lie. Because you can get here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10. Out of 10 marks, how much? 10, 5, 4. Why are there 3 end ifs? Look at the highlights, you will be able to figure it out. The pink color is for one if statement, green color is for one if statement, the blue color is for one if statement. These are 3 different if statements. Every if statement should have an end if. What channel have you uploaded? In the Master IT channel. Hasna, just drop me WhatsApp message. I'll send you after class. You said F gets 4. Yeah. So you don't even know maths. F is 4, E is 1, 5, D is 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Simple. Can I know why can't we write the B as how it is crossed? The reason is because the variable names. Now, for example, if you are saying that B is, now let's say if I mention something like this, X equals 5. And if I say Y equals Z times 3, can the program imagine what does Z mean? No. But if I mention instead of Z times 3, if I mention Y equals X times 3, now can the program figure out the value of Y? Yes. Similarly, in this program, in statement, the second statement we have here, the B statement, we have input name, grade, weight, and height. So the name, the variable that's going to store the weight is weight. The variable that's going to store the height is height. So when you say BMI equals W divided by H, W does not have a meaning. W is undefined. The program will give you error saying W is undefined. So that's why you're saying weight divided by height. Got it? Weight W is not a variable, H is also not a variable that is defined. So they don't have a value. So the program will give you error saying that these variables are not defined. Got it? Okay. Anyone having any other questions here? Okay. Actually, what do you call? I'm going to give you a time to play now, and I'll just give you a small homework. Because if I'm going to give you a time to play and come, it's going to be almost 6:30. So what do you call? I'm going to just give you a. I'll be dropping a paper in the channel. Okay. So the channel, the community. So those who are not there in the community, I'll just send the link in the chat. Make sure you join the community. So they are after the class is over. Okay, I'll be sharing a link for a PDF. Before joining the next week's class, make sure you complete those questions. Let me copy the link. Okay, I just wanted to do the mixed question today itself, but I'm going to start, give you a time to do the question and then discuss now. There's not enough time. So yeah, I dropped the link for the channel in the chat. Those who are not there in the channel, the community, the paper class ke liye venuma community agti na, join that. What do you call? I'll be dropping a paper, which I'll be doing next week. That's going to be mixed questions and easy questions. Don't worry. I will not be showing you all the questions. The first 10 minutes, what we're going to discuss, those questions. Anyways, what do you call? Based on what we learned today, we did the 2023 paper. I will clear with everything, all of you. I'll send you another, like once the meeting is over, that means that's like a couple of minutes, I'll send it to you. But based on what you learned today, all of you are clear? Okay, perfect. So one thing keep in your mind when doing programming questions, always have patience and read the question properly. If you have highlighters, okay, just go and spend some 100 rupees something and go and buy highlighters. Or if you don't have, what do you call, just buy some highlighters and if possible, whenever you get questions, highlight the keywords. If you don't have highlight, underline. Now in our scenario, I'll be sharing the whole PDF, so you can't highlight directly. So in these situations, write down the keywords. For example, write down on the keyword. That is, like if I was you, I will write, okay, input. See, in here they said input name, grade, weight. So there's the input. We have to get the name, we have to get the grade, we have to get the weight. Then we have seen, okay, we have to find a BMI. That's another keyword mentioned in the question. And then another thing they have mentioned in the question is we have to output. They have to display the name, grade, BMI, weight status. Okay, and how to find. Killer, there are some keywords. So whatever, but whenever you get a question, especially programming, you can apply this for other subjects as well, but especially programming, always figure out the keywords or the key points mentioned in the question. Because when you know the key points, then you will be getting an understanding of how the program works. Without having a proper understanding of the scenario, don't do the question directly. Then you will have high chances of getting wrong. Second thing is go through the program and understand the program. Now, before we start filling A, B, C, D, F, just go through the whole program and see what is actually happening. What are the data is given? Now, you notice I figure out B, so I figure out the option answer C by reading the next statement. I told you, okay, BMI is still not defined. Likewise, you go through the whole program, you'll be able to get ideas. So that's how the whole program works. So yeah, with that we're done. If you have any questions, or can stay and ask. Others, you can actually leave because if I'm going to give you time to pray, anyways, it's going to be 7:30. In the second line of the question, they have given W and H. Okay, in the question, I'm saying you, what do you call the BMI of a person weighing? No, no, let me mention some place. In the question, if I have mentioned some place, if I have mentioned the question, what do you call? Forget that. Is it equal 7? I have mentioned this question. In the question, I mentioned a point called forget that is it equal 7. And if I'm going to create a program, does a program and my question, do they have any connections? Like, have I connected any bias between them? Or is my program like having any connection with the question? These are two different stuffs. Program is program, a question is question. Okay. So for example, okay, let me make things easy. In the program, if I go and put a state, if I go and write a statement saying what you call display student count, will it display 400? Why you can 400 is mentioned in the question, Kira. That is not how the program works. Program works within. Why do you think a program has a word called begin and end? What does the word begin and end mean in a pseudocode? Begin means that this is the start of the program. End means this is the start of the program. So when you say display name, okay, it will check between begin and that statement. Have we mentioned any statement saying name? So if we have given a value, it will display the value. If we have not given the value doesn't get displayed. That's what I showed here as well. Got it? So you can't make assumptions in questions unless you have to. Again, I use the word unless you have to. Huh? In certain places, you have to. Without assumption, you can't do the question. But in this question, you can do the question. See, weight is given, height is given as a variable name. Got it. Like go and check that program you wrote to find the area of a circle. In the program it's given, you can find the area of a circle using the equation. Area is equal to pi r square. Okay. So in my program, I'm asking user called input r, input radius. If I say input radius and if I mention display r, okay, this only this part is the program. Huh? In the program, I'm saying display r. Will it be able to display the value of radius? No. Why? It is going and finding the variable r. It is going and searching, okay, where is this variable r, where is the variable r, where is the variable r? It's going and searching there. So only if I mention display radius, it'll get displayed. So if you're going to use output statement, it's going to have a variable. Always that variable has to be defined. Defined means it has to be given a value. Is that clear? Within the program. Okay, perfect. Anyone having any other questions or want to clarify? Okay. So as there is no any more questions, I'm going to end the meeting. Again, if there's any questions, you can get back to me through WhatsApp. I'll be sharing the question in a while. You can try doing that. I'll always discuss that at on the next week's class beginning. Right. So yeah, with that, we're done for the day. Have a nice day. Bye bye.